and I want to ask you a question about Europe. We in Ukraine are very much worried about Europe. For many, many years, all our revolutions are about Europe, about European identity. But when I'm in Europe, I'm very scared that there is no strategy to preserve stability of Europe and European identity. And Russia, while we are talking here, is using the time to undermine the stability inside many European countries and to spread disinformation. My question is, what is the timeline, the time frame and the strategy to tackle this very big threat? Because we don't have time in that as well. They're telling stories in Africa and Latin America, telling their stories of the war, of their reality, while we are discussing about the future, but without exact time frame.
That I want to stress, and I said, and I will continue saying, that Europe has to increase its defense capacities on the broader sense of the word defense. Defense is not only military, it is mainly military, but it's not only that. There is a fight for the land, and there is a fight for the spirit, for the mind of the people. And there is, yes, a fight about who tells what and who believes to whom. And we are fighting this war also. We have created structures in order to debunk the lies that were being widespread by the Russia propaganda. We know that there is something called foreign interference and manipulation. We fight against it, and we have teams devoted, allocating resources, human resources, and people on Africa, on the Balkans, where the Russia aggression towards the mind of the people is very much stronger. So thank you for remembering. We are doing, and we are perfectly aware that Russia is fighting a war against us, which is not only bombing with shells, it's a war of narrative. I use this sentence, we are fighting a war of narrative, on the second month of my mandate. We are fighting a war of narrative. And the one who will win the war of narrative will be much ready to win the other war. And we are going to have electoral process in Europe in some months. And then public opinion will have to know and to decide how much support they want to give to Ukraine.
I want to ask, what is the time schedule for Europe to beat Russia? The time schedule is now. We're doing it now, because we know that Russia is using its propaganda, and it's a battle for people's minds. So we have to understand that we cannot time any longer.
There is no question that the reason we have been able to react so strongly and quickly against the war in Ukraine was the fact that we were able to unite in an unprecedented speed, both when it comes to sanctions and support for Ukraine. And of course, that also means that there are forces within the European Union and outside the European Union to really try to erode that unity. And we have to be very aware of these threats, both, not at least, when it comes to the election in the European Parliament. I mean, it's rather obvious that Russia will be spreading disinformation and being very active to persuade our citizens to vote for parties that are not so interested in having a well-functioning and strong European Union. And, of course, also to take the debate every day with those parties and those political powers that want to erode this unity. And one thing that the next Commission, I hope, will be working with is to have a stronger regulation when it comes to our big tech companies, our social media, because we do know that those algorithms do amplify messages with hate, division, anger, fear more than other messages. And this is really bad for our democracy and our unity. So that's something for the next Commission to continue to work to regulate big tech companies.